In this exercise, question 222. Find a quadratic polynomial in each with the following given numbers as the sum and product of its zeros respectively. So in each of the sub question, we have been given two numbers. The first number is the sum of the two roots, the two solutions we are going to get. And the second number is the product multiplication of the two roots of that polynomial. We have to construct a polynomial such that the sum of the roots will be first number, the product of the roots, multiplication of the roots will be the second number. So let's see the basic concepts regarding that. Let's begin with the first question. Let the quadratic polynomial, let's assume that it's in the standard form ax square plus bx plus c equal to 0. And let's assume that the zeros, the roots, the solution, remember each polynomial, if it is quadratic polynomial, at the most it can have two solutions. Let be these solutions alpha and beta. We know that the sum of the roots, which is alpha plus beta, is negative b by a, where b is the coefficient of linear term, x term, and a is the coefficient of square term, which is x square. Alpha plus beta, which is sum of roots, is always given by negative b upon a. So we know that for the first question, negative b upon a, which is sum of the roots, is given as 1/4. So we have one equation. Now this just one equation is not sufficient because we have two unknowns. We require one more information, and that is given as -1 as the product. We know that from here, if a is 4, then negative b will be 1 or b will be -1. We are assuming here a as 4. A can be any multiple of 4, but we are going to represent the simplest equation. So let us assume that a is equal to 4, then negative b will be 1 or b will be -1. We also have one more information, which is product of the roots, that is given as -1. So alpha beta, which is c upon a, where c is the constant, and again a is the coefficient of x square. C upon a is, this is the formula, is -1, which is the given information. We already know that c is unknown and a is 4. So c by cross multiplication will get -4. So if you combine all the information, we have a as 4, b as -1, and c as -4. So we can construct the polynomial ax square, bx, and c. So a we will substitute as 4, b we will substitute as -1, and c we will substitute as -4. So this is the polynomial. If you try to solve this, you will get two equations, two solutions. They are not asking us to solve this polynomial. They are asking us to construct a polynomial in such a way that the two roots, the two solutions, the two answers, if added, should give this number. If multiplied, they should give this number. That's all. So the final answer is the polynomial itself, the quadratic itself, and that would be 4x square minus x minus 4. Let's go to the second question. Again, we will assume the same quadratic format, standard format, ax square plus bx equal to plus c equal to 0. And every time we are going to assume alpha plus beta as the standard solutions. So these are the roots. Sum is first number, that's root 2. So this root 2 is nothing but root 2 divided by 1. So if a is 1, which is upon part, so negative b will be root 2. So if a is 1, from where I'm getting 1? Since there is nothing below root 2, I will assume that it is 1. So if a is 1, then negative b will be root 2, and hence b will be negative root 2. And the second information is alpha beta, which is the product, that is always given by c upon a, that is 1/3. A we already know as 1, that's what we have assumed. So c is equal to a by 3, which is also 1/3. So now we have got all three coefficients. We'll plug them into the standard equation, and that will come out to be x square minus root x plus 1/3. Or if you don't like the fraction, let's multiply everything throughout by 3, which is also okay because this is going to be eventually equal to 0. So we can multiply to manipulate the fractions, Let's multiply 3 to get rid of this 1/3 part. So it will become 3x square minus 3 root 2x plus 1. And eventually it will become 0 when we are calculating the root. But this is the polynomial, and that's the final answer. In the third one, we'll follow the same process. Sum is equal to 0. If a is assumed as 1, negative b will be 0. That makes b also 0. And alpha beta is c upon a, which is root 5. C will be root 5. So once you plug in those equations, remember here b comes out to be 0. So that means the middle term is simply absent. We only have ax square part and c part. So that's why there will be only two terms, simply because b is 0. Since a is equal to 1, it will be just x square, and c is root 5, it will be root 5 immediately following that. And this will be your final answer. In the fourth one, 1 comma 1. So again, sum is 1. We will assume a to be 1, then minus b will be 1. So b will become negative 1. And product c upon a will be 1. So c is going to be 1 too. So we will have a as 1, b as negative 1, and c as 1. So eventually it comes out to be x square minus x plus 1. A value is substituted here. B value is negative 1. That's why this becomes negative 1. And C value will be substituted here. This is going to be your final answer. Next question will be minus 1/4 and plus 1/4. Again, same procedure, alpha plus beta, standard summation is minus b upon a. A, we will assume that now if a is 4, minus b is minus 1. So that will make b as 1. And second information is product is 1/4. C upon a is 1/4. A is already 1. A is already 4, so C is going to be 1. So now we have all three coefficients. We will simply plug them in. 4x square plus x plus 1. That will be your answer. And the last question is 4 comma 1. So again, same information. Sum is negative b upon a, which is 4. A, now if there is nothing below a, below 4, that means it is 4 upon 1. So we can assume a as 1. So if denominator is denominator, then numerator will be numerator. Minus b will be 4. So b is equal to negative 4. That will make a as 1, b as minus 4. If you substitute that in the second equation, c will become 1. Now also we have all three coefficients. It's just a matter of substitution. There should be x here, and that should be your final answer. X square minus 4x plus 1. That should be your final answer.